I could feel the sweat trickling down the back of my neck as the upbeat tempo of the music pushed me to finish my last set of squats. My home gym wasn't much, just a small corner of my basement with a yoga mat, some free weights, and a second-hand elliptical I'd picked up online, but it was mine, and over the past few years, it had become my sanctuary. It was one of those rare mornings when the house was completely mine, no kids asking for snacks, no phone calls to return, no errands to run, just me, my playlist, and the satisfying burn of muscles at work. I had just moved on to a set of lunges when I heard the faint sound of the side door creaking open. I froze mid-lunge, my heart skipping a beat. "Hello," a voice called out. It was unmistakably Tim, my next-door neighbor. Tim and I weren't exactly close, but we'd always been friendly. He'd helped me shovel snow off my driveway last winter, and I'd baked him some banana bread when he moved in a couple of years ago. A nice enough guy, quiet, polite, and always willing to lend a hand. Still, hearing his voice in my house threw me off. I grabbed a towel and draped it over my shoulders, quickly walking upstairs to the kitchen, where I found him standing awkwardly by the counter holding a box in his hands. "Tim, what are you doing here?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light, even though I was mildly annoyed and a little embarrassed about being interrupted mid-workout. His face turned a shade of pink. "Oh, gosh, Claire, I'm so sorry." The door was unlocked, and I called out, but no one answered. I didn't mean to barge in, but I noticed this package on my porch and realized it was addressed to you. He held up the box as if to prove his point. I exhaled, relief washing over me. "Oh, thank you." I didn't even realize I was expecting something. I took the box from him and placed it on the counter. He glanced down at my workout clothes, leggings, a tank top, hair pulled into a messy bun, and then quickly looked away, clearly trying to be respectful. "I'll get out of your way," he said, already stepping toward the door. "Wait," I said impulsively. "Do you want some coffee? I was just finishing up downstairs." His eyes widened, probably as surprised by my offer as I was, but after a brief hesitation, he nodded. "Sure, if it's not too much trouble." Tim sat at the kitchen table while I poured 2 cups of coffee, the warm aroma filling the room. I handed him a mug and slid into the chair across from him, wiping at the sweat still glistening on my forehead. "So, do you make a habit of rescuing stray packages?" I teased, trying to break the awkwardness. He chuckled, the tension in his shoulders easing. "Not exactly, but I know how annoying it is to deal with missing deliveries, so I figured I'd save you the trouble." "Well, thank you," I said, taking a sip of my coffee, "but next time, maybe knock a little louder. You scared me half to death." He laughed again, and for the first time, I noticed how his smile reached his eyes. There was something disarming about him, a quiet warmth that made it easy to relax in his presence. We fell into easy conversation after that. I learned that he worked from home as a freelance graphic designer, which explained why I rarely saw him leave the house. He mentioned how much he loved the neighborhood but admitted he hadn't really connected with anyone since moving in. "It's hard, meeting people as an adult," he said, swirling the coffee in his mug. "Everyone's busy with their own lives." I nodded, understanding exactly what he meant. "Tell me about it." Between work, the kids, and everything else, it feels like there's never any time to just be. Tim's gaze met mine, and for a moment, the air between us felt charged, like we'd stumbled upon some unspoken truth we both needed to hear. "Do you work out often?" he asked, breaking the silence. "Most mornings if I can. It's my way of staying sane," I said. He grinned. "Maybe you can give me some pointers. I've been meaning to get back in shape, but I always find an excuse not to." Before I could stop myself, I said, "Why not start now? I mean, if you're serious, you can join me sometime." His eyebrows shot up, but then he smiled. "Really, you wouldn't mind?" "Not at all," I said, surprising even myself with the invitation. "But fair warning, I don't go easy." The next morning, Tim showed up at my door in sweatpants and a t-shirt, looking slightly nervous but determined. I let him down to the basement, where I'd set up my modest gym, and handed him a bottle of water. "Okay," I said, clapping my hands together. "Let's see what you've got." We started with some light stretches, and I couldn't help but notice how hard he was trying to keep up, even as his movements lacked coordination. By the time we got to the actual workout, a series of bodyweight exercises, he was sweating buckets, but he never complained. Are you always this intense? He joked, collapsing onto the yoga mat after our last set. I laughed, handing him a towel. Only on Tuesdays. As the weeks went by, our morning workouts became a routine. At first, it was just about the exercise, but gradually, our conversations deepened. We talked about everything: our careers, our families, our hopes for the future. One morning, after a particularly grueling session, Tim looked at me and said, "You know, I haven't felt this good in years." "Thank you, Claire." His sincerity caught me off guard. "For what?" I asked. "For letting me into your world," he said, his voice soft. "I didn't realize how much I needed this. Needed a friend like you." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I felt a lump rise in my throat as I realized how much I'd come to value his presence in my life. "Me too," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. From that moment on, our connection deepened. It wasn't just about workouts or coffee chats anymore. It was about two people finding solace and strength in each other. Looking back, I never would have guessed that a misplaced package and an interrupted workout could lead to something so profound. But life has a funny way of surprising you, doesn't it?